Have you ever had a brain freeze in the middle of a conversation? Imagine this, you are talking to someone new. Maybe it's a colleague, maybe it's a stranger at a party. The conversation starts well. Hi, how are you? Good, thanks. And then, silence. Total, painful silence. Your brain starts searching for something to say. Anything. Talk about the weather, your brain screams. Talk about the food. But nothing comes out. You just stand there, smiling awkwardly, looking at your shoes, wishing you could disappear. I know that feeling. I lived with that feeling for 20 years. I used to think that being good at conversation was a talent. I thought you were born with it, like blue eyes or curly hair. I thought, I am an introvert. I am quiet. I am not built for chatting. But I was wrong. Conversation is not a talent. It is a skill. It is a technology. And like any technology, there is a code. There is a secret formula used by FBI agents, diplomats, and the most charismatic people in the world. It is called the F.O.R.D method. F.O.R.D. If you memorize these 4 letters, you will never, and I mean never, run out of things to say. Today, I am going to teach you this formula. But first, we need to understand why we fail at small talk. 1 to 2:30, Atlas, let's go back to the scene of the crime. 3 years ago, I was invited to a networking event. Just hearing those words made my stomach hurt. Networking. Ugh. I put on my best suit. I walked into the room. It was loud. People were laughing, holding drinks, looking confident. I walked straight to the corner of the room. I found a plant, a large plastic ficus tree, and I stood next to it. I pretended to check my emails on my phone. I had no emails. I was hiding then, disaster struck. A man walked up to me. He looked friendly. He had a name tag that said Julian. He smiled and said, "Hi. I'm Julian. Are you enjoying the event?" This was the moment. The tennis ball was thrown to me. And do you know what I did? I dropped it. I said, yes. Just yes. I didn't say, yes, it's great. How about you? I didn't say, yes, the food is amazing. I just said, yes. Julian waited for a second. He looked a bit confused. Then he said, great, well, nice to meet you. And he walked away. I felt terrible. I felt stupid. I had killed the conversation with a dead-end answer. This is the first lesson of small talk: never give a one-word answer. A one-word answer is a stop sign. It tells the other person, stop talking to me. But I didn't know that yet. I just thought I was boring. To understand how to fix this, we need to define what small talk actually is. Many people hate small talk. They say, Atlas, I hate talking about the weather. I want to talk about deep things. I want to talk about philosophy. The meaning of life. I get it. I love deep conversations too. But here is the truth: small talk is the bridge to big talk. You cannot walk up to a stranger and ask, what is your biggest fear in life? They will call the police. You have to build trust. You have to warm up. Small talk is the handshake of the mind. It says, I am safe. I am friendly. We are connecting. So, before we learn the F.O.R.D method, let's look at the vocabulary of social interaction. Vocabulary break 1. Word guide. 1. Small talk, noun. Definition: polite conversation about unimportant or uncontroversial matters, weather, news, especially at social occasions. Example: we made some small talk about the traffic before the meeting started. 2. Introvert, noun. Definition: a person who prefers calm environments, limits social engagement, or prefers to be alone. It does not mean shy, but often overlaps. Example: as an introvert, I need to recharge my energy after a big party. 3. Dead-end, adjective. Definition: a road or passage that has no exit. In conversation, a comment that stops the flow. Example: answering with just no is a dead-end response. 4. Awkward, adjective. Definition: causing or feeling embarrassment or inconvenience. Example: there was an awkward silence in the elevator. Okay, back to the party. Back to the plastic tree. After Julian walked away, I made a decision. I said to myself, Atlas, you cannot hide here all night. You have to try again. I looked around. I saw a woman standing near the food table. She looked nice. She wasn't talking to anyone. Okay, I thought. I will talk to her. My heart started beating fast. Boom, boom. I walked over. My hands were sweating. I was holding my plastic cup so tight I thought it would crack. I stood next to her. I looked at the food. There were some small sandwiches. I cleared my throat. Ahem. She looked at me. And then, my mind went blank. The brain freeze. I forgot my name. I forgot English. I pointed at a sandwich and said, bread. Yes. I pointed at a sandwich and said bread. She looked at the sandwich. She looked at me. She smiled nervously and said, yes, it is bread. And then she turned around and started looking at her phone. I wanted to melt into the floor. I had failed again. Why? Because I didn't have a structure. I was trying to improvise, and panic kills improvisation. That night, I went home and I started researching. I read books on psychology. I watched videos of famous interviewers like Oprah and Larry King. I wanted to know, what do they do that I don't? And that is when I found it. The Holy Grail of Conversation. The F.O.R.D method. It stands for 4 topics that everyone in the world loves to talk about. If you stick to these 4 topics, you are safe. Let's start with the first letter, F. So, you are standing in front of someone. The silence is coming. You need a topic. Pull out your mental map, F.O.R.D. F stands for family, and friends/from. This is the most personal topic, so be careful. A lot of textbooks teach you to ask, are you married, or do you have children? Stop. Don't ask these questions immediately. Why? Because if the answer is no, I just got divorced, or no, I can't have children, the conversation becomes very sad, very fast. It gets heavy. Instead, ask safer family questions that invite a story. Try asking about location or siblings. Do you have family here in the city, or are they back home? Do you have any brothers or sisters? How do you know the host of the party? These questions are safe. They open the door. If they say, my family is in Italy, boom. Now you can talk about Italy. Oh, Italy. Where in Italy? Do you miss the food? You see? You took one small piece of information and built a bridge. Now, let's move to the easiest letter. O stands for occupation, work. This is the default setting for adults. What do you do? It is a fine question. But it is boring. If you ask what do you do, they will say I am an accountant. And you will say cool. And the conversation dies. To be a conversation master, you need to spice up the question. You need to ask about feelings, not just facts. Instead of what is your job, try these. What are you working on these days? This allows them to talk about a project, not just a title. How did you get into that line of work? This asks for their origin story. What is your favorite part of the job? This asks for positivity. When you ask how did you become an accountant, they might tell you, well, actually I wanted to be an artist, but my father forced me to study math. Wow. Now you have a real story. You have drama. You have art versus math. You are no longer talking about taxes, you are talking about dreams. But maybe they hate their job. Maybe they don't want to talk about work. That is when you use the most powerful letter in the alphabet. R stands for recreation, fun/hobbies. This is my favorite. Why? Because people love to talk about what they love. When someone talks about their hobby, their eyes light up. Their energy changes. But don't just ask, do you have any hobbies? It sounds like a job interview question. Try asking. What do you do for fun when you are not working? Have you seen any good movies or read good books lately? What is the highlight of your week so far? If they say, I went hiking, don't just say nice. Dig deeper. Be a detective of happiness. Oh, hiking? Do you prefer easy trails or dangerous mountains? Now you are talking about danger, nature, adventure. This is where friendship begins. Friendship is built on shared recreation. Before we get to the final letter, D, dreams, I need to warn you about a trap. The trap is called the interrogation mode. Imagine a conversation like this. You, where are you from? Them, Spain. You, do you have siblings? Them, yes, one. You, what is your job? Them, doctor. You, do you like hiking? Them, no. This is not a conversation. This is a police interview. The other person feels like you are pointing a light in their face. To fix this, you need to follow the give and take rule. When they answer, you must give a little bit of yourself before you ask the next question. Spain? Wow, I have always wanted to visit Madrid. I love Spanish food. Give. Do you miss the food back home? Take. It is a balance. Share a little, ask a little. Let's pause and learn the vocabulary of conversation dynamics. Vocabulary Break 2. Word Guide. 1. Interrogation, noun. Definition: the act of questioning someone aggressively, like the police. Example: stop asking so many questions, it feels like an interrogation. 2. Sibling, noun. Definition: a brother or a sister. Example: do you have any siblings, or are you an only child? 3. Spice up, phrasal verb. Definition: to make something more interesting or exciting. Example: let's spice up the party with some music. 4. Line of work, noun phrase. Definition: a type of profession or career field. Example: it is a dangerous line of work, but I enjoy it. We have covered family, occupation, and recreation. Now, we reach the final frontier. The letter D. D stands for dreams, or desires. This sounds very serious, doesn't it? You might think, Atlas, I can't ask a stranger about their deepest dreams. You are right. You shouldn't ask, what is your soul's purpose? That is too much. In small talk, dreams means future plans. It means asking about positive things that are coming soon. Try these questions. Do you have any travel plans for the summer? Are you planning to see that new movie coming out? What is the next big goal for your business? This is powerful because it lets the person imagine a happy future. If you ask about their summer holiday, they stop thinking about their boring job. They start thinking about the beach. They start smiling. And because you asked the question, they associate that happy feeling with you. So, remember the formula: F family, siblings, location, O occupation, projects, feelings, R recreation, hobbies, fun, D dreams, travel, plans. If you use F.O.R.D, you can talk to anyone for hours, but wait. What if the conversation is going well, but you want to leave? Or what if the conversation is terrible and you desperately want to escape? For introverts, ending a conversation is harder than starting one. We feel rude. We feel trapped. We stand there nodding, thinking, please let me go home. You need an exit strategy. You cannot just say bye and walk away. That is weird. You need a bridge to get you out of there. I use the future mention technique. It works in 2 steps. Summarize/compliment. It was so great catching up with you. Give a reason. I need to go grab some food/find my friend/catch my train. For example, hey, listen, I loved hearing about your trip to Italy. It sounds amazing. I'm actually going to go grab another drink, but let's talk more later. It is polite. It is smooth. And it sets you free. Before we wrap up, let's learn the vocabulary of leaving. Blue Book Vocabulary Break 3. Word Guide. 1. Catch up, phrasal verb. Definition: to talk to someone you haven't seen for a while. Example: it was great to catch up with my old school friends. 2. Wrap up, phrasal verb. Definition: to finish or conclude something. Example: the meeting is running late, let's wrap it up. 3. Trapped, adjective. Definition: unable to escape from a place or situation. Example: I felt trapped in the boring conversation. 4. Graceful, adjective. Definition: doing something in a smooth, polite, and elegant way. Example: he made a graceful exit from the party without offending anyone. So, my friends, the next time you are in an elevator, the next time you are at a party, the next time you are waiting in line for coffee, don't hide behind your phone. Don't look at your shoes. Look up. Smile. And throw the ball. Use F.O.R.D. Ask them where they are from. Ask them what they do for fun. You might be surprised. The stranger next to you might have an amazing story. They might become your new best friend. Or your new business partner. But you will never know if you don't say hello. 1530 to 1600 hours, Atlas, here is your challenge for this week. I want you to have one small talk conversation with a stranger. Just one. Ask a barista how their day is going. Ask a taxi driver if they have been busy. Use one letter from F.O.R.D. And then, come back here and tell me in the comments, mission accomplished. Tell me what happened. Did you survive? I know you can do it. You are not just learning English words. You are learning to connect with the world. I am Atlas. This is the English Leap podcast. Speak up, and I'll see you in the next episode.